and welcome back to Coffee with a Kick. This morning we've got our coffee in the mug ready to go. I've got my coffee in a can, and it's definitely not Dr. Pepper. Shouldn't make those noises on recording. But we're going to go ahead and review our Matchday 6 action. There were some snoozers, there were some blowouts, and there were some pretty good matches. We kind of got a good mix of everything.
Yeah.
And however, we did not pick very well. I will say that off the front to anybody who was, what is it? It's trailing. Is that the term?
Anyone who's keeping score at home.
Anybody's keeping score at home, like me.
Not that anyone is. But
4-6 we both went this weekend. 4-6. Not the best result. What I've learned, well, I'll get to it when we get to the team. I've learned some things. Some additional things on top of things I've learned previously. And we both had one get totally correct, which would bring us on the season to 31-28 for myself with 7 perfect picks. And you were at 29-30 with 2 perfect picks.
I got to pick it up.
As far as my tabulation is concerned. But we'll go ahead and, as I say almost every time, hop right into it with the first match that I have on the sheet, which is our snoozer, Crystal Palace and Fulham, 0-0 draw.
This one was
not great for watching, is what I would consider it.
No, I mean, watching it was not great. Looking at the stats, they were pretty even. But I was shocked to see that they had 8 total shots on target between them. Because it felt like less than that. It didn't feel like a game that, I don't know. As I said before, it was what were they, 9th and 10th in the table. Mm-hmm. So in the preview match, I thought Palace would do it. But, I mean, they seemed pretty even, whatever that means.
It was, the shots on goal can sometimes, depending on the shots, be deceptive because, like, a shot directly at the goalkeeper still counts towards that. It's a shot on goal, sure. But it's not like it has a chance of going in. Really disappointing, I think, from Palace. Only getting 3 shots on goal the whole match. Not having as much possession. We'll have to keep that in mind going forward the rest of the season. But I mean, it was not a good look for them during the match. Really not a good, like I said, a good match to watch anyways. So I think that we can go ahead and move on from that.
I will say...
Oh, go ahead.
Even though both teams wanted to win, this was a good result for both teams because they are going to be bottom half teams. So getting any points is still good. So I don't think either of them walked away feeling bad about themselves.
The result, I would say, don't feel bad about the result, but I think the performance that they will be disappointed in that. Just not to at least put on a match, Not much in it. Then we move on to my Wolves and Luton Town. Going down to 10 men before halftime did he stamp the guy on the butt? I mean, sure. But he had him like in a triangle leg lock for 2 minutes almost. They're rolling around on the ground. I'm saying he kind of deserved it, okay? It was a light stamp. On the tush. He said it. He grabbed his nards like it was some sort of vicious thing. It was like, dude, get off me. Anyway. He deserved a red card. It was unsportsmanlike. It was unnecessary, for sure. But, at least give like a yellow to the guy who's got him in a figure 4 leg lock or whatever. A triangle. He's got him in a leg bar. Like an arm bar with a leg. Whatever. Anyway, we managed to get a point out of it. It wasn't pretty. I mean, we go up 1-0. So, it definitely wasn't pretty getting a point. With Pedro Neto coming through for me. And then we give up one there to Carlton Morris. Whatever. Is not a great match.
If there was a name that told me he was straight from Luton Town, it's Carlton Morris.
Yeah, Carlton Morris.
I don't know. definitely a red card. And as they say, I hear this more in American football and the NFL than I do in soccer. But typically, it's always the guy who reacts because the situation is
Yeah.
now escalated.
Right.
Despite what's happened, I agree. I think the guy, it was pretty nefarious what he was doing before. So the reaction definitely drew the red card. I don't know how the game would have gone had the red card not happened. But either way, this does not make me feel good about the Wolves not being in a relegation fight this year.
Listen, I picked him to go 18. I picked him to go 18. Like we said in the last episode, though, I mean, there are two teams that are 19th and 20th. I think we know the order of that now, although I think Luton could confuse us later on throughout the season. But I think we know that 18th and 19th and 20th, it's really that 18 spot where a lot of teams are looking like they're going to be contestants in that lottery.
They're almost fighting for it.
I want to get off it. Is a drop chance for 3 points. Another red card that really just comes back to bite us. Anyway, we'll move on to Man City and Nottingham Forest. Speaking of red cards, speaking of this one's at least an unnecessary red card. Rodri there. City scores 2 goals in pretty short order. I mean, first quarter hour, 2 goals in. Looks like it's going to be a right thrashing, you know. That City's just going to take it to them all day, every day. Ends up staying at 2-0 the rest of the match because, one, City didn't convert on a lot of good opportunities there the rest of the first half. And then Rodri gets his red card there in the 46th minute, just right after halftime. Right after the halftime. Comes out, tries to choke a dude out. Just briefly, was like, oh, I can't do that. No, I hit him in the chest. No. I saw the replay. That was double-handed right up under the chin. You're trying to choke him. Just a little bit.
It was very undisciplined. I mean, even like Pep Guardiola
uncharacteristic, really.
It would not shock me if he gets dropped for a few games, even after his suspension, because Pep was pretty mad. Aside from the red card, that did seem to change our game plan a little bit. We did not look like we wanted the ball as much. No. We definitely didn't. We weren't able to build our attacks as quickly. So, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. First 15 minutes, I thought it was going to be like Newcastle United, which we'll get to later. But I thought it was going to be 7-8-0, maybe. And honestly, between the 20th and 35th minute, I think we had 2 more shots on target or close to it. And in the rest of the game, nothing happened. Yeah, it felt like Nottingham Forest was going to get one back for a lot of it.
Yeah, even before the red card, I don't know what happened, but it was like the 35th minute. There's big change. Nottingham Forest became much more confident in possession. They started clipping together some passes. City laid off in a strange way that they weren't pressing as much as they usually do. And then you get into the second half, and they get the red card, and they start. I mean, it was mostly keep away. I mean, didn't get as many passes were way down in this match for City. They only had 570. They only had 570, below 60% possession against Nottingham Forest, which I think, you know, Nottingham Forest is not a terrible side. They're upper mid-table for this season, I think, as far as quality. You know, that like 7 through 9 sort of category, maybe 6 through 9 sort of category. But you know, gutsy win by City in the end, really locking it down there in the second half, keeping the chances to a minimum. Still only got 3 shots on goal, Nottingham Forest, even having a full half at a man advantage, which goes towards, you know, City can find ways to win even when they're a man down, when they're not playing their best. And that's what top teams do. They find ways to win matches. It helps when you can score 2 goals in 15 minutes and make it look like a breeze. But you know, the rest of the match is the rest of the match. It's not what happened at the beginning. Now, for one that did shock me, This one did shock me here. Well, there's one later on that was really shocking, but I'm sure you all know what I'm about to say. But Everton taking Brentford to task 3-1. Did not have that on my dance card. You did think Everton would win this. You got your Tarkowski, Decore, and Calvert-Lewin all getting in on the action there. And really, I mean, Everton looked the better side. They really did. It was a pretty good match up until they got those 2 goals almost back-to-back, essentially in the 67th and 71st minute. And that really did break the back of Brentford, I thought. But it was a good showing from Everton.
Yeah, I feel like their defense played pretty much the same as they have for most of the season. Obviously, a couple of games where they got beat pretty bad, but I don't know. I felt like it was a very Sean Dyche-esque game. I feel like when he was at Burnley, especially versus the mid to low table teams, they would be able to beat them 2-0, 3-1, 4-1 just by using the height. I mean, Tarkowski and Decore are like 6'3" and taller. Calvert-Lewin's even like 6'2". He loves to use height and physicality, so it felt like a very Sean Dyche-esque win.
Mm-hmm.
So I predicted it. I figured this was going to be the game they figured out. Seems like they did.
They definitely figured it out. At least for this one. Going forward, can't speak to it. But at least for this one, they figured it out.
Top of the table, baby. Straight to the top.
Not quite. Then we'll move on to Burnley and Man U. Man U snuck away with it. They got themselves that goal. You know, it's Bruno Fernandes there right before the halftime whistle. And not much else. Gotta be honest. They beat Burnley, but only because they outscored them. You know, one of those matches.
Yeah, this was I don't know. It felt like Burnley, possession-wise, definitely controlled the game.
Yeah.
But it felt like Man U was just kind of, I don't know. It kind of felt like a City versus, I don't know, Crystal Palace type game where it's like, they're going to get a couple of chances, a couple of breakaways, a couple of counterattacks, but like Burnley kind of looked like the more seasoned and experienced team.
That's what I was going to say.
Man U is kind of just there.
Yeah, speaking of figuring it out, Burnley looked very good for a lot of this match. It was disappointing that they didn't get a draw out of it because you're right. They looked. They were in the match. It wasn't like they were trailing. They weren't chasing anything. They were playing their game and just trying to work towards a goal. They were just. I mean, they had 12 shots. They had 12 shots, only 4 on goal. It's this last third that Burnley can't seem to quite get there. With I mean, with their I can never why I know his name.
Company?
Yes, Vincent Company. I keep wanting to say Yaya Toure. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Yaya Toure.
Yaya Toure in the box.
But Vincent Company, defender. So maybe, that's his least well-versed area of the pitch. So it kind of reflects in how Burnley plays. They have good possession out of the back, but they can't quite figure it out once they get in the box. Once they get up to that attack, the most important portion of the pitch where you got to score goals. Yeah. But again, I think there was good progress for Burnley because they were not out of this match. I feel like they can build off of this going forward. Mm-hmm. They'll get some good matchups here going forward. Who they have coming up here? Maybe I should have looked this up before I claimed that.
They got Newcastle next weekend.
Well, that was looking good, but they've got Luton Town after that, and then Chelsea, who's a pushover, obviously. And
kind of.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Newcastle. I'll get to Newcastle in a moment. We'll get to Newcastle in a moment because we have to talk about them a little bit.
After this game, if I'm a United fan, I would not feel confident in my team. Yeah. And even though they got 3 points, I think this game might have pushed Ten Hag even closer to the edge. Mm-hmm. Because, they kind of got dominated by Burnley, a team that had shown no domination previously. So I don't know what that says for Man U. I still think Ten Hag will be the first manager out, to be honest. But we'll see.
Yeah, I was just checking who Man U's got coming up. Yeah, their slate's not too bad. They got Crystal Palace, Brentford, and then they're at Sheffield before hosting City at Old Trafford there just before Halloween. Spooky one.
Scary times for United.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, we will move on from our Saturday matches to Sunday. To Sunday. There we go. Starting off with the North London derby, Arsenal and Spurs. Lived up to the hype, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, neither of us got it right. We both thought Spurs would win. But a thrilling 2-2 draw. One of them definitely coming off of an own goal, so, there's that. But Hungman's son, really good job. 2 nice goals. Keeping everybody in it. It was a good match. A good match in the end. Very even, I felt. Like 2 top-tier teams going at it.
Yeah, James Maddison he's a wizard. I mean, he assisted on both of them. He seems to be, they let Harry Kane go, and they brought in James Maddison, and he's almost contributing the same amount of goals, just more goal involvement, creating more assists. And it feels like they're really a more cohesive team without relying on Harry Kane.
They're dangerous.
So James Maddison has taken up the reins perfectly in that role.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good synergy with Hungman's son. We've talked about this earlier in the season, that they work together very well. They flow off each other very well. And Spurs dangerous team. Arsenal keeping going. They keep on trucking. They keep on trucking. They keep on trucking. I don't know. I think I said that wrong the first time. They keep on keeping on. There we go. They carry over their energy from the Champions League, where they had a nice win there against PSV. I believe I have that correct. I'm going off memory there. I've got my list right here.
Yeah, I think they played PSV.
Yeah. Arsenal and PSV. They beat PSV nicely. I'm sure they would have liked to take more than a point out of this. But I'm sure they're also glad they didn't drop any, or at least got one out of it. It'll be interesting going forward to see how the rest of those shake out. But we will move on from that to, unless we have anything else.
I don't. I did see a tweet that in the offseason, Mikel Arteta brought in a team dog. And the team adopted a dog so that the training ground would feel more like a family environment. So maybe that's playing into the fact that they didn't want to beat anyone too bad. They want to be family men, so they want to be respectable to everyone.
I was going to say that sounds soft to me. That sounds listen, it's England. It's Europe. Everything's a little softer over there. Even the cheese.
Except in Germany.
And in Switzerland, it's hot in Switzerland too. France has got the soft cheese. Anyway, let's stop talking about. I think we talked about cheese in the last episode for some reason too. I promise you, I'm not obsessed with cheese.
It's so Gouda. Come on.
No, stop.
Boom.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on to Brighton and Bournemouth. All right, my perfect pick of the week. 3-1. Bournemouth Bournemouth is taken out by those birds down in Brighton. Matoma continues to impress this season, getting a brace in this one, and there was an own goal put in by Milos Karkas in the 45+2. Pretty easy win for Brighton, to be honest. They went down early, so a good bit of resolve, and then they took care of business in the second half. Good job, Brighton. They continue to impress this season.
Yeah, this match showed me that they're a true top 4 contender, because previous seasons, teams that have kind of like been on the outside looking in and started off hot, these kind of games they usually don't recover from.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, going down 1-0, 25th minute, not ideal, but they stuck to their game plan and responded well. So I think that they're going to give Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Newcastle a run for their money when it comes to that like 3rd and 4th spot.
Which is why that 1-3 loss against West Ham back a couple weeks ago in August was so strange, because they didn't bounce back like that. Maybe they learned from that experience, and they also continue the strategy of the games ending in 3-1. But maybe they learned from that experience back there against West Ham and were able to carry it through to this one. I don't know. It certainly seems like it, because they haven't lost since and beaten everybody 3-1. So like, hey, maybe we could try this. Not quite the 6-1 that you were looking for. Not quite that, but still, you got it right in the end. All right, we will now jump down. However I thought, but listen, I had a very busy day. I'm working on it. Okay. Chelsea drops all their points. They dropped the whole bundle against Aston Villa. It's at Stamford Bridge. Get themselves a red card in the 58th minute. This one, that was ouch. That for that red card, deserved that red card. He's a little unlucky just catching the guy on the slide, but listen, you put yourself in that position, Gusto. Yeah. You deserve the red, because you caught him full cleat on ankle. Just
it was studs were up. It was high. It's always going to be a red.
Yeah. Yep. And then as a result, you end up giving a goal in the 73rd to Ollie Watkins. And listen, Chelsea continues to be a great big Hindenburg this season. Are they down in 16th at this point?
14th. They are 14th, but not by much, with a -1 goal difference.
-1 goal difference. They're only one bad weekend and they're in 17th.
Yeah,
could very well be, they could go drop down to 17th. We'll get to the table here in a second. Then we'll jump down to Liverpool and West Ham. Liverpool, I guess Jurgen Klopp has figured it out or whatever. Not going to see Klopp out this season. Whatever. 3-1. They beat West Ham. Not happy about it.
Yeah, this felt like it felt like a Liverpool versus West Ham game. Liverpool dominated most of it. West Ham, it seems like the games that West Ham win, they score early, and then they're able to kind of control the match from there.
Dictate
Not
pace,
against these
sort
big
of
sides.
thing. Yeah.
They've decided that they don't want to try to impose their power. And it's funny to me because they set up the exact same game plan as they did with City, thinking that it would work this time. But it did not work this time, and this similar result of 3-1 happened to them. So maybe they're content with hitting that 7-10 range. I think they're a lock for top 10. But these kind of games, they got to win if they want to make some Europe spots.
Oh, you mean West Ham's locked in for West Ham position at the end of the season?
Yeah. It was not too long ago that they were in the championship. So I think they're doing pretty hot for only being in the Prem for 9-10 years.
Listen, I wish my Wolves would get back up into that position. We had a couple of years where they're going to be 7-11 somewhere in there. I long for the days. And then you let
go of your best coach ever.
I long for the days when I could guarantee a 7-11 position at the end of the season. No more. We will now wrap up the action with probably the headline match of the week. Newcastle, they figured it out, apparently. 8-0 victory over... once again, grain of salt, Sheffield United, okay? Disclaimer sent. But still, an away 8-0 victory is nothing to sneeze at. And what I've learned, this is the other team that I learned something about. I learned that I can't even trust Newcastle to be untrustworthy. That's what I learned. They're highly unpredictable.
Yeah, 8 different goal scorers is pretty amazing. And it wasn't like they converted all their chances. They only converted 50% of their shots. So this game, if I was a Sheffield United fan, I probably would have gone to halftime to go buy a Newcastle jersey and then put it on so I could at least celebrate something this season. because
Yeah. You think it's bad going into the half down 3-0. Then you look up at the scoreboard at the end of your 90, and it's 8-0. You're like, boy, you just want to think it can't get worse. It goes and does.
yeah, and it wasn't like a game where, there were a few fluke goals and like, I don't know, it looked like Newcastle controlled it in the first half, and then they decided they were just going to make up for all the goals they had missed
Yeah.
in the previous 4 matches. So, yeah, they dominated, which is kind of funny because their goal difference is only 9 now, even after beating a team 8-0.
Yeah. Has not
But
been
yeah,
great
this shows
for
me
them thus
that
far.
Sheffield United, as you said, definitely 19 or 20. Them and Luton will fight to see who's the worst. But yeah, Sheffield's not making it out of relegation this year.
No, and I think Burnley does. I say that. I say Burnley is figuring it out, but they do have to go play Newcastle next. So there is that. My Wolves, boy, okay, it's going to be a tough week for some of these bottom teams. Burnley's got Newcastle. Bournemouth has Arsenal. My Wolves have Man U, so that's great. Yeah, but it's. There are a lot of highs and lows this weekend. A lot of highs and lows. Depending on your perspective, they may even be only lows. Home Depot, maybe. It's not a funny joke.
I will say, Sheffield United, every match up to this point, the ones they lost, they only lost by 1. So it kind of shocks me that they lost 8-0. Yeah, lost to City by 1. They drew Everton, which is looking like a good. They lost by 1 to Tottenham. Like 3 of their 4 losses have been to top 10 sides. So them losing 8-0, while I think they deserve to be relegation, kind of shocks me. But
yeah, and it was weird that they were able to get that closer result in a lot of those, because it's strange because they look like they're outmatched and all those as well. They just end up not being as bad as you would think. Yeah, but that's all I got to say about this week. We'll do our predictions later on Friday. But we'll take a quick little look at the table here. Haven't checked up on the table very recently, to be honest. Big clash next week. Big clash. Liverpool and Tottenham play. That's a spicy sandwich right there. That could be really good. Also, Brighton plays Villa. That'll be interesting. Crystal Palace and United. Talking about that 9-10 matchup. See if Man U can keep rolling. But yeah, at the top we got City. They're unbeaten so far this season. 18 points, 13 goal differential, doing all right. Liverpool has jumped up to second with 16 points, 10 goal difference. BHA, 10 goal difference, 15 points. And then Tottenham just below that, rounding up the top 4. Well, actually, we have 2 teams at 14, Tottenham and Arsenal, which is one of the reasons why that North London derby was so important, because they're right there.
Yeah.
But Tottenham has an 8-goal difference because they've had some really nice results this season. And then jumping down to the bottom, 3 teams sitting on a single point out of 6. Well, sorry. Single point out of 6 for Sheffield, 5 for Luton and Burnley. That Luton hosting Burnley match is looking real important for both these squads whenever it gets rescheduled.
That might be the match of the season.
For them, certainly. I don't know if it'll be any good to watch, but it'll be important. Yeah, boy, Sheffield now sitting on a negative 12 goal difference. They are looking rough.
Wolves doesn't have to be good. They just have to be better than Bournemouth and Burnley.
It's like
they'll stay up.
It's like that old zombie apocalypse adage, right? You don't have to be the fastest guy. You just got to be faster than the guy next to you. That's all you got to do.
Amen.
And at the bottom of the table, it's kind of a zombie apocalypse down there. But Wolves got that 1 win And we're just going to coast on that one win as long as we can. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I think both of those teams, if that game ends in a draw, I think both teams will walk away feeling very disappointed because they know their fate has been decided.
Essentially,
One team,
yeah.
if they win, they'll feel hopeful, but draw,
Yeah.
I just don't think any of them feel good about themselves.
No, I mean they don't have Burnley. Like we said. I think that they definitely showed some progress in this last one. They're in a hole and they got to get themselves out of the hole. They've stopped digging, at least at this point, and that is always step one of getting out of a hole is to stop digging. Let's see if they can start bringing some dirt back in there, making some makeshift steps. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they can crawl out of the hole. Right now, not looking great. All right. Anyways, that's all I got for this week. You got it this week for today, for Tuesday morning's episode. You got anything before we go?
You know, I'm disappointed that Man City only won 2-0. As their fan, I was disappointed.
As someone who picked them at 1.5 goals, I was glad to see it. As one of them who had a separate wager for like Erling Haaland multiple goal scorer. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm sad that they only won 2-0.
Yeah, they got the win. That's all that matters. But, we'll see. City did. The last time they won their first 6 matches was in 2016-17. They finished 3rd that season. So hopefully the injury bug doesn't continue to hit us. But we'll see.
Able to weather it so far. And Phil Foden is doing an admirable job filling in Kevin De Bruyne's role thus far. I think he's really showing a lot of promise, considering he's still, still like 22 or something?
Yeah, 22, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and
Scary. Julian Alvarez.
Yeah, Alvarez has gotten a couple of assists. Anyways, I should stop complaining about winning. I'm sure any Luton Town fans out there will be like, I would love a 2-0 win.
Yeah.
Any Wolverhampton fan out there.
Yeah. We played Luton Town. I would have loved a 2-0 victory. You tried to give me one. You picked my Wolves. Oh, you picked us 4-0. Jeez Louise. Man.
I thought it was going to be a drubbing.
I would that it would... Wait. Lost that saying. What was it? Would that it would be so? I can't remember. I'm not functioning at 100% right now. But what I do want
Xander is also not, he's not under the influence.
No, I'm not intoxicated in any way. I'm maybe intoxicated on Taco Bell. That's about it. On Baja Blast. However, what I want you to do is to go grab some coffee, watch some soccer, and we will see you. Don't watch the Carabao Cup, though. Don't watch the Carabao. Anyway, grab some coffee, watch some soccer, and we will see you on Friday. Make sure that you leave us a comment and like and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. I forgot to plug all the socials. Arrivederci!